Alright, so today we are doing triangle congruence theorems. And again, if you didn't finish yesterday's intro to congruent figures, make sure you finish that and turn it in. That was homework. And make sure as we're going through these notes that we don't have headphones in our ears because we want to be able to listen. This is brand new stuff. We want to start this 9 weeks and this semester on the right foot. So let's be attentive, okay? So we're looking at this sheet, okay, this congruent triangles packet of notes. You can see these 5 different ways we're going to tell if 2 triangles are congruent. And remember, congruent means same size, same shape, okay? So it says if 2 triangles are congruent, then you know all 6 parts of corresponding parts are congruent, okay? Which means 3 sides, 3 angles, right? So you know all 6 parts are going to be congruent if the 2 triangles are congruent. But to tell if 2 triangles are congruent, you don't need to know everything is congruent. You just need to know if 3 things are congruent. So right here it says there are 5 easier ways to prove that 2 triangles are congruent. And these are the 5 ways we're going to learn today. SSS, SAS, ASA, AAS, and then HL. And we're going to explain those as we go through here. But first, let's recap. Let's review corresponding parts of a triangle. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. Order matters. So, it says the 2 triangles shown are congruent. Complete the following. Angle O is congruent to angle what? So, what do you think O is congruent to? Okay, P. This triangle and this triangle are just rotated, okay? So it's just a rotation. If I were to redraw this triangle over here, okay, this would be Q down here, and then this would be P, and then this would be R, okay? So sometimes redrawing it helps us see what matches with what. So what matches with angle M? Angle R, right? Those are both at the tops when I redrew it. Okay, what about angle N? Just kind of skipping around here. Angle N has 1 arc. What else has 1 arc? Q, right? So this is going to be angle Q. And now we're going to do the 3 segments. So letter D, MO is going to be what? RP. Segment RP. Again, in the same order. Order matters. ON is congruent to segment PQ, and then MN along this side is congruent along this side, and that's RQ. Okay. Now I want to make a statement about the whole triangle. So the triangle NOM in that order is congruent to what? Q, P, R. Okay, now this is what we did yesterday. Is everyone seeing how the order matters? Again, when they're rotated, it's kind of hard to see this, so you might want to redraw it, okay, like I did up here at the top, okay? So again, that's a review from yesterday, identifying congruent parts, angles, segments, and the whole triangle. Now we venture into the next page, where we talk about the actual triangle congruence postulate. Okay, so look at this. This is called SSS postulate, and we're going to use it if 3 sides of one triangle are congruent. Okay, 3 sides. That's what the S's stand for. Side, side, side. Okay, congruent to 3 sides of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Okay? So I want you to notice, you have to have it labeled. It has to be labeled for it to work out. Look right here. I got 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 pair. If all 3 sides match, then you're going to write SSS. They're congruent because of SSS. Okay? And then over here, I don't have tick marks, but I do have numbers, right? This matches, this matches, this matches. Since I got 3 matching sides, that's S, 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 side, side, side. Okay? So how would I write this? Down here it says, by the SSS postulate, triangle ABC is congruent to FGH, and POE is congruent to TRY. Poetry. Right? But again, it only works if all 3 are labeled. Okay? So let's look at these 2 little examples right here. Can the following triangles be proven by SSS? Now, I want you to see, this is not on your sheet, but is everyone looking right here in the red? This is so important. Okay? If 2 triangles touch at a side, if they're touching, those sides are obviously equal, right? So look right here. Does everyone see that both triangles share AC? So obviously if they're touching, it's the exact same side. So here's what I want you to do. If 2 triangles touch at a side, label the tick mark. That way you can see it. Okay? So check it out. 1 tick mark on each side, 2 tick marks on each side, and since they're touching, I'm going to put my 3rd tick mark. Okay? Those touching sides are obviously equal because they're the exact same side. So are all 3 sides labeled? Yes. So can the following triangle be proven by SSS? Yes, it can be, because all 3 are labeled. If they're not all 3 labeled, then you don't know. Okay? What about this one over here? So are these touching? So I'm going to label where they touch with 2 tick marks. Okay? And I see there's also 1 tick mark on each side, but the other sides are not labeled. Since they're not labeled, I don't know if they're the same. Okay? So since I don't know, can I use SSS? No. Okay? I don't have that 3rd side labeled. You can't just randomly put marks on there. Okay? You can only put marks if they're touching together. Okay? So that's SSS. Alright? Now, let me show you that on this interactive thing. Okay? So, got this website where I'm going to show you that this works. Okay? So I'm going to pick 3 sides. Sounds like we're at HEB. Alright? I'm going to use these 3 sides to make a triangle. I'm going to line all my vertices up. Okay. Now here's the same 3 sides. I'm going to show you that it always gives you the same triangle. Okay? So I'm going to line these up. Line these up. Okay? So using the same 3 sides, I made 2 triangles, and it says at the bottom, are these triangles congruent? Well, do they overlap perfectly? Yes, they do. Okay? It's a little rotated, though. That's the only thing. There we go. Alright, see how they overlap? Alright, so again, because they perfectly overlap, they are congruent. There we go. Whatever. Alright, so, correct, these are congruent. Okay? So side, side, side is a congruence theorem. Let's go on to the next one. Side angle side. Alright? So, notice we just went from 3 sides, and now we're going to use 2 sides with an angle in the middle. SAS means side, angle, side. And it says, if 2 sides and we're going to use the word included. And included just means between. Okay? Two sides and the included angle, the angle between them, of one triangle are congruent to two sides and the included angle of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Okay? So basically you have to have a side labeled, an angle labeled, and then a side labeled. In that order. It has to be in that exact order. So let's look at these two right here. I got a side. I got another side. And between those two sides, there's an arc for the angle. Right? So if I were going around the edge, I'd say side, angle, side. Side, angle, side. So that is SAS. Those are congruent triangles because they have labeled congruent sides, angles, sides. Okay? And then over here, you can do it with numbers. Here's a side that's congruent. Here's a side that's congruent. And between them, there's an angle that's congruent. Okay? Side, angle, side. So by the SAS postulate, ABC is congruent to, again, FGH. And MEL is congruent to ODY. Melody. Okay? So again, that's side, angle, side. Now, there's another thing you've got to know when you're looking at these examples, okay? First of all, we said earlier, if they're touching, what do I need to label? The tick marks, right? So right here, this one is right here is touching. So I'm going to put two tick marks on it where they touch. And is that side, angle, side? You might be saying there's an angle on one side and not the other. But guess what? If this one's 90, this one over here is also 90 because they make a straight line, right? So you could put that right there. So that's side, angle, side. Yes, that is SAS. Now, look at this right here, okay? This is important. If two triangles touch at vertical angles. Now, we got to remember this from before. Y'all remember what vertical angles are? At an X, they're across from each other, and they're equal. They're congruent, okay? So I want you to look at this picture right here. Do you see how we have like an X right here? Every time you see vertical angles, you label arcs. You label equal angles. So here's what I mean. Since I have an X right here, I'm going to put an arc and an arc. Okay? So arc here, arc here. Every time you see an X, you got to put the arcs. Okay? Right? So, is this side, angle, side? So check it out. I got a side, I got an angle, but that other side is not labeled. If it's not labeled, you don't randomly put it on there. Okay? So this is a no. I don't have SAS. Okay? You can only use SAS if you for sure have it labeled. Now let me bring it back to that interactive thing. Let's do side, angle, side. Okay? So I got side, angle, side. So I'm going to use these three parts. There's that side, there's that angle, and then there's that side. Side, angle, side makes a triangle. Does the same side, angle, and side make the exact same triangle? Let's find out. And it gives us congruent triangles. Okay?